Hi guys, it's Kachi once again, and I'm excited to have you join me for this particular tutorial. If you're new here, please kindly, before you go forward, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be building an application for generating random password. So sometimes it's difficult for people to create a very strong password for their social media or for their whatever they're building, whatever their application they're trying to log into. So we'll be creating an application that will help you solve that problem by it will automatically generate passwords for you, and you can easily copy those passwords and use it on your application. It's safe and very easy to use. So I already have the layout for my application. It's a JavaScript application, by the way. So I already have the layout. So we have our index.css, and we have our index.html, and we have our JavaScript file, which is empty now currently. So we'll be writing all our functionality on this particular file. So we have the index.html, which is the HTML, the structure. We have the CSS, which has the design. So I'll run this application as it is now, so you see how it is. Okay, now so this is the application. So generate a random password, never use an insecure password again. So our functionality will make it so when you click on this generate password, it will give you two different random passwords on this particular tab here, and then you can copy either the first one or you can copy the second one. So that's just it. So let's go straight to the business of the day. Now, okay, so this is our index.js file. So now I'm building up from what I've been teaching you guys over the past few videos on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't watched this video, if you're completely new on JavaScript, you need to go back to my JavaScript playlist and watch those videos. I have a video from variable to functions to conditionals to looping and the rest. I'll be using those ideas from those previous videos further. I will be applying them in this particular video. So if you haven't watched the previous video or you are new completely to JavaScript, please kindly go and watch those previous videos. It will help you a lot coming here. So first thing we do is we will create our function. So the function is simple. Function generate password. Function generate password. So this is the function we will write all our logic inside. So now we'll create a variable called characters. Now characters, the password we'll be creating will make use of various characters, A, B, C, D to Z, and both uppercase A and lowercase a, and some few symbols, I guess. So I have this txt file that contains all the various characters that we will be using in our application. So it has the capital letter A, B, C, D. So this is everything basically. So this prevents me from typing them out manually, which will be very, very exhausting. So we are storing the characters in an array. So if you get that, so we are storing the characters in an array. The next thing we'll have to do is to grab our two buttons. So this is the two buttons here. These buttons you see here, this one and this one, in line 14 and line 15. We have to grab these two buttons so that when we click on these buttons, they can generate password. So let me go back to our application. So this is the two buttons I'm talking about here, button 1 and button 2. So if you click on this first button, it generates the password. If you click on the second button, it copies the password. So I want to grab these two buttons from our index.html. So let me go back to this place. So the class of the button is generate. So let's give it. Okay, this is a 2 button rather. This is 2 button. So let's give it So what we want to do basically is that we want to afresh the last time. So what we want to do here is basically we want to grab the two inputs. The inputs are this and this, so that once you click on these buttons, the two inputs will be filled with the random passwords. So we want to grab these two inputs, so that when we click on these buttons, generate passwords, it will generate these two inputs will be filled with the passwords. Then if you click on copy, it can copy the content of the inputs. So let's go back to our file, and now in our index, before we do that, in our index.html, the inputs have IDs. So these two inputs here have ID. The first ID is what I name Buto. Strange, yeah. But the second ID is Buto. So let's just grab them with an extra O. let's grab these two inputs. So we say let input 1. I think I'll call this input 1. Input 1 equals to document dot get element by ID Buto, then let input 2 equals to document dot get element by ID Buto, yeah, with an extra O. So now we are grabbing those two inputs so we can work with them. So next thing is we have to define our password length. So password at least should have a minimum length of 8 characters. So but ours will be 16 characters. So we do password length equals to 16. So we're defining our password length. The next thing is we'll create the variable for the password equals to an empty string, and let password 2 equals to an empty string. So now this is, let's go back to our application. So this is the first password, this password 1, and this is password 2. So once you and this password 1 and password 2 points to the two inputs that I spoke about earlier on. So the first input and second input. So password 1, password 2. So we will create a function. Our function will be such that once we click on this generate password, these two inputs, password 1 and password 2, will be filled in with the random password. Okay, so next thing is we have to loop through the characters. So there are various ways of looping. So we use this popular way. Let I equals to 0, I less than password length. So we want to loop through the password length. We don't want the random password rather to be greater than 16. So we want them to be 16, strictly 16. So this is how to loop. I have a video on looping which you should see. So let random password 1 equals to mat.random characters.length. Now let me explain this function. Mat.random is a function, an inbuilt function in JavaScript that helps you to generate passwords. Understand? To generate random numbers rather. So it helps you to generate random numbers. So I want this mat.random to give me random numbers between the number of 1 and the character's length. If you get that, so it will give me random numbers between 1 and the character's length. So this is our characters here. This variable is our character. So I want it to give me a random number between 1 and the character's length. So it will give me index decimal numbers too. So I have to use mat.float to remove the decimal numbers involved. Mat.floor. So this would remove the decimal numbers. So I have to do this again for the second password, because remember we're working with two passwords here. So next thing we have to do is to add to, let me write this function out first. I will explain it so you understand better. Plus equals to characters random password 1 characters random password 2. So now what this basically is doing here is let me copy this. So what this basically is doing here is that I am adding, I'm creating a random number between 0 and 16. This is what this line, these two lines is doing here, between 0 and 16. And I'm passing those numbers, I'm passing the index of those numbers, the value in the index of those numbers in these characters, I'm adding them to passwords, the password string. So it will generate a number. Let's say it will generate something like, let me give it an illustration for something like this, and then it will check these characters. Index 5 is what value is index 5? 0 1 2 3 4 5, which is F. It will give me F. Then it will go to index 8, 5 6 7 8, which is I. It gives me I. It goes to index 2, which is 0 1 2, with C. It gives me C. Then goes to index 6 here, which is 0 1 2 3 4 5 6, G. Gives me G. Then goes to index 1, which is 0 1, B, and gives me B. This is what these particular two lines, these lines here we're having here. This is what these lines are doing. So it generates a random number between 0 to 16 and gives me the value in those, the value that it's in those index from a character array, if you get that. So that's basically, that's what this line is doing. In fact, this line is a major point in this application, because this line is what generates the password for us, if you get that. So it generates numbers, characters, between random characters between 0 and 16. So between 0 and 16, yeah. So it generates those random characters 1 to 16 and gives us the value that is in those characters from our array, our characters array. So while looping, it keeps on looping because we are in a loop. So getting that, the next thing is we'll say input 1, yeah, dot value equals to password, and I should remove this, input 2 dot value equal to password 2. Yeah, so input 1 dot value. So we are replacing the value of this, which is currently empty, with the random password we are generating through our while loop, from our while loop. So we are replacing that input, that empty string, with these values that we are creating. So guys, that's this function. The function is very simple. That's the function entirely. This function is what will handle our generating password. So this function will generate the password for us. The next function we want to write now is a function that will copy the password once we click on this particular button, copy password. It will just copy the password to our clipboard so we can use it on our social media handle or wherever we want to use it. So it will be function copy password. Let copy text get element by ID. And so what we are doing again in this function, this particular line, is we are sorry about that. So what we're doing in this particular function, this particular line here, is that we are grabbing this particular input. We are grabbing the content of this particular input. So that's what we are doing with this line. Copy text is equal to document.get element by ID. We are getting this particular element, this element that has the ID of Buto. Now that means once we click on this copied password, only this particular only the password on this particular input will be copied. So that's it. So let's do this. So copy text dot select copy text again dot set if I can spell this correctly. Don't know. Document. So what we did here is that we are selecting the text and we are selecting the whole range, the whole content 0 to 999. So we copy the whole content in that input. So then we execute the command copy. So the final thing we have to do here is to go to our buttons and apply these functions. So click on the first button, which is this one, generate password. We'll run the function generate what do we name it? Generate password. This is index.js. Generate password. Yeah, index.js generate password. Then copy this index.html. Click on the second button. We copy the password. The second button is this copy password, and then we'll do that. Yeah. So we click on the first button, we run the function generate password. Click on the second button, we run the function copy password. So now let's test run what we have been doing so far. So we go here, refresh, and then we'll click on this. As you can see, it's giving us the function. It's giving us the different passwords, random passwords. So I can click on this copy, and it copies this one. And if I go to my tab, I can replace this with the password that I copied, as you can see. So this is a very strong password that you can use on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your WhatsApp, on your is there password on WhatsApp? I don't think this password on WhatsApp. Anyway, so you can use it on any application of your choice. I don't want to. How do I go back to this now? So that's basically that for for this video. Hope you've learned a lot. So let me just go back to quickly summarize what I've been doing so far before ending this video. So first and foremost, we define our functions, generate password, then we create a variable that stores an array of different characters. So A, B, C to Z, both uppercase, lowercase, and some symbols. Then next thing we grab our two inputs, which are these two inputs here. Then we create two empty variables. We define our password length. Then we create two empty variable, password 1, password 2, which will signify the password that we are going to be creating later on. Then we loop through the password length, and for each particular value, we create a random password string within the range of 0 and 16. Then we take the value of each number in the random password string, and we pick that with the index of this character. Then we add it to our password. The logic here is crazy. You can console.log each step to see what it's giving you, to understand exactly what is happening here. So the next thing is we add the value of our password to our inputs, input 1.value, input 2.value, the value added here, and then that's that. The next thing is we create our function for copy password. Then once you click on any particular input, you can copy the content in it. So that's very simple. Very, very simple. The code, our code is available on my GitHub repository. So I will drop the link to the GitHub repository on the video, so you can check it out and copy it and probably host it and use it on your portfolio. So thank you for staying tuned. Ensure you subscribe to this particular YouTube channel. I'll be dropping more and more JavaScript content.